This is where all the basic issues of life are discussed. If there are any personal secrets, this is where they come out now. The couple really get to know each other. It doesn't matter whether the couple is seated on a bench, whether they are standing, whether they are seated on a wall, on the grass. Do you know what they're doing? They are looking down, and they are talking, and they are talking, and they are talking. If they're standing, they do funny things with their toes like this. They start digging holes in the ground. But their eyes are always down, but they're talking to each other, stealing glances again. If they're seated on the grass, they begin picking grass. They could mow a whole field. All they're doing is keeping their hands and their eyes busy while they are talking. And this is where a couple will discuss their values, their goals, and their belief systems. This is where they have to ask, do our end goals blend? Do we bring out the best in each other? Are we motivating each other to better things? Will you allow me to develop my own talents and my own abilities? Or are you going to try to press me into a mold and control me? Do our expectations for the future blend? All of this must be discussed now, because to go further in the pair bonding process without having discussed all of this will damage the relationship. This is the last chance to say goodbye without deep emotional trauma, almost the same kind of trauma that you go through when you are going through a divorce. Why? Because the couple, if they have taken their time in each stage of the development of this relationship, they are already so well bonded that if they break the relationship now, it's going to hurt that bad. All right, now we're going to move to stage 3, intimate contact. Several stages occur in stage 3. For the first time, the couple will turn to face each other. There still is no direct sexual contact, but they both know and understand it's on a hidden agenda. Any genital contact now would bring on intercourse and could scar the couple for life. Direct sexual contact would bring high levels of anxiety and introduce an undercurrent of mistrust that would haunt their marriage. Communication is now very different. What's our couple been doing up till now? Talking, 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 talking. All of that shuts down now, and nonverbals will take over. Eye contact and your nonverbals will now dominate in the relationship. All right, step 7 is face-to-face. Actually, Morris calls it mouth to mouth, but 3 types of contact take place here: hugging, eye contact, and kissing. And the eye contact is long and pronounced. The couple will actually begin to read one another's faces. Now, what happens when you take a male and a female body and you press them together in a frontal position and you put your arms around each other? And this is where our kissing changes. This is where it goes to the open mouth kissing. And they are reading each other's faces, but they're doing more kissing. Do you understand now why you have to do so much talking through stage 6? Because you can't kiss and talk at the same time. One man raised his hand and he says, "Nancy, you don't know my wife." She can kiss and she can talk at the same time. She never stops. But you see, this is why a couple has to spend their time talking. Now they know each other so well that they begin to read one another's faces. But when you take a male and female body and press them together in a frontal position like this, something else happens at step 7. All sexual motors are turned on. We are still 5 steps away from sexual intercourse, and yet this couple is going to have to deal with something very real. Their relationship is now going to escalate very rapidly because they have to deal with their raging sexual hormones. All right, step 8 is what's called hand to head. Who touches your head? Who touches your head? Yeah, family members, but outside of family members, who touches your head? All right, your hairdresser, or a barber, or maybe a dentist, or a physician, or a pastor in the rite of baptism. But in every case, it is someone we trust. We don't allow just anyone to touch our head, because if somebody wanted to harm us, all they have to do is strike us in the head and they can kill us. So if you ever see a couple engaged in any head-touching rituals, it's an indication of step 8, and you know that there is a high bond of trust between them. For just a moment now, picture a couple in a park. She is seated on the grass. He is lying on the grass, resting his head in her lap. She takes her fingers and she begins to run them through his hair, trace his eyebrows, and maybe his nose and his mouth. It's a very tender scene indeed, and it's simply indicative of step 8 behavior. The bond is very well formed at this point, with a very high trust level between the couple. Step 9 is hand to body. In hand to body, the hands are used to explore the partner's body. Breast fondling becomes important for the male here. In the early stages of step 9, the hands will remain outside the clothing. In the latter stages of step 9, the hands will move underneath the clothing, but the hands stay above the waist. If the hands go below the waist, we are moving to another step. But this again turns on more sexual motors. But I take this a step further. I say any hand-to-body touching falls into here, especially if it's above the waist. But I'm asked all the time, well, what about a back rub? I wouldn't touch your breast, but what about back rubs? It's step 9 behavior. So a leg rub, an arm rub, a back rub, any of these things are definitely step 9 behavior, and maybe sometimes even a little further. I had kind of an interesting experience. I was at a private school teaching a Smart Love seminar, and I had taught the pair bonding material the night before, and I was preparing to leave that morning and was having breakfast in the cafeteria when the cook called me over, and she said, I saw something interesting happen here this morning. I said, what was that? Well, she said there was a couple left here. Everybody else had left, and just this one couple that were known as a couple on campus. And she said they were all alone there, and she said, suddenly I heard the girl say to the guy, get your hand off my knee. Oh, what had she learned the night before? She'd learned pair bonding. Hand on knee today, where will that hand be tomorrow? And you see, she was limiting his behavior, because you see, these steps very quickly escalate, because 4 demands 5, and 5 demands 6, and 6 demands 7, and 7 demands 8, right up the pair bonding scale. Each encounter will bring them closer to proceeding further. Each time the couple goes to step 9, they're going to have more trouble stopping at step 9. And please notice something else. Step 9 is the point of last return before the protection of marriage is